Hey guys, Walther here to show you my newest 9mm full-size pistol, my CZ-75B. Super excited to get this. I actually traded my Walther P38 for this. Just why I traded the P38, well, it's a post-war P38. Number one, it's got that aluminum frame. Can't shoot the hotter loads or even the standard stuff like 124 grain. Just an older design, single stack. Really not something that I'd want as my primary sidearm that I would need. Now, I'd had the Walther for a while. I got it because it was cool. You know, I was able to trade with a friend on it, but it's an outdated pistol, and with that aluminum frame, just can't shoot the hot stuff through it, and then there's a high chance that eventually the frame would crack. So got this baby. This is a steel frame and shoot the super hot plus P or plus P plus through it. So, and this is actually my first full-size modern 9mm. It's not my first modern 9mm, as I also have this sweet little Bursa Thunder Plus 380. So I mean, 380 is technically a 9mm, so it's a 9mm. So love this gun as well, but finally have, you know, two modern handguns. And as you can see right there, it says CZ-75B. This is made by CZ USA out of Kansas City, Missouri, but it's still the classic Czechoslovakian CZ-75 design. Now this is the CZ-75B, but not the BD. It doesn't have a decocker, but it's got that bobbed hammer. The earlier versions have the spur hammer, and then it has the more modern trigger guard with the serrations on it, so you can wrap your hands around it or do whatever. But just an awesome pistol. A little bit of history on this. So this was developed in Czechoslovakia in the early 1970s. This is one of the so-called Wonder Nines, such as the SIGs, and then I forget which model it was. Maybe I think the 210 or 220, and then the Beretta 92. Basically, these were meant to replace the World War II designs that had been floating around for quite a while, such as the 1911, the Tokarev, like the Beretta Model 34s, Browning High Power, just basically the older designs with something more modern. So this is the steel frame gun. It's similar in design from what I've read to the Browning High Power, but a far superior pistol. This is a full-size 9mm with a 16+1 double stack magazine. It's a recoil locked pistol. Double and single action. This does not have a decocker, but you know, it's a minor issue. Just an extremely solid pistol. This feels like a 9mm 1911. Just the ergonomics are fantastic. I find it's very slim for being a double stack 9mm. For a more modern gun, I was looking at like a Beretta 92, something like that, but the grips are just a little bit too fat for me. So this is a nice and slim, and it's got the plastic grips on there, which I find I get a very solid grip. And the cool feature I like about this pistol is that it has a half cock feature, which you can actually, by pulling the trigger a little bit, you can put it on half cock, so you can either cock it the rest of the way, or, you know, once it's on the half cock, then you have a lighter double action trigger. And I just have to say the trigger on this is simply phenomenal. I haven't shot it at the range yet, but just from dry firing it, just phenomenally smooth trigger. Very crisp, no mush at all. Unlike a Glock, you know, the Glocks have that real mushy trigger, and that's one thing I didn't like about the Glocks, is there's that mushy double action trigger, there's no safety, and then the ergonomics on the Glock I just don't like. Whereas this is it's a classic pistol. It's got the classic feel, you know, through and through. I think they make some polymer framed ones, but I really don't mind the steel frame, as it's really not going to make that much of a difference, and it helps with the felt recoil, and then, you know, the steel frame can take the hot stuff. Whereas in the Walther that I had, I mean, it's a great pistol, it's a great design, but it's just outdated. It's single stack, and then P1s and the post-war P38s with the aluminum frames are notorious for frame cracking. And I had no idea what happened to the one I had before I got it. It was a 1959 production, so it's got the regular slide and no hex bolt in there. So, you know, I got nervous even shooting the standard 115 grain stuff. But man, what can I say? This is just a great pistol. It just looks awesome. It's got that high power-ish look. One thing that I love compared to the Walther is that it has the dot sights on there for an easy target acquisition, and then it feels so nice. And it's going to take me a little bit to get used to the button release after having the Walther for so long. But it's nice. Field stripping isn't quite as easy as the Walther, but it's simple enough. If you can see right there, there's the two notches. So what you basically have to do to field strip the pistol is you line up the two notches. I find that putting it on a half cock makes it a lot easier. Let's see if there's the... Okay, now the notches are just on one side. So you pull the slide back to those notches, or you just push it back. Then you pop out the slide release. I mean, it takes some finesse. One thing that I've found that makes it easier is actually, it's kind of like with the CZ-52, you can use the magazine as a disassembly tool. You take your slide release after you've pushed it out with this button, you've pushed it out the other side, you can take the heel of the magazine and actually use that to pry out the slide release. And then the barrel just slips off while the slide just slips out the front. And then you've got your recoil spring and guide rod. You lift those out, and then you can lift the barrel out of the slide. Super, super easy. Not quite as simple as the Walther, but it's very nice. Definitely easier than a 1911. And unlike a Glock, you do not have to put your finger on the trigger to disassemble the gun, which I think is always a plus. I mean, you should make sure your guns are unloaded, but I've heard a bunch of things about people shooting themselves while stripping Glocks. So, you know, I call this is my little Glock beater right here. It's a steel frame pistol, but whatever, you know, trigger's better than your standard Glock, ergonomics are better than the standard Glock. And from what I've seen and heard, it's definitely more reliable. Unusual feature of this pistol, oh yeah, and it's more accurate. Did I say more accurate than a Glock? Yeah. Generally these are more accurate. So an unusual feature versus most pistols is that the slide actually runs inside the frame versus most semi-automatic pistols where the slide will be outside the frame. For this adds to reliability and accuracy. Definitely an unusual feature that I haven't really seen on a whole lot of guns. This thing, it just feels tight. From what the guy told me that I traded with, this gun probably only had about 100 rounds through it. It definitely looks and feels new, and seems to be just running perfectly. Again, I haven't shot it, but just from stripping it and everything, just running great right out of the box. So I can't wait to shoot this guy. I got a few boxes of 9mm, got some Winchester, and then Federal, which is on sale at Walmart the last time that I bought it. So just extremely, extremely excited. So trigger is super light on single and double action. It's just such a nice trigger, especially for me coming from the Milsurps. It's a very nice trigger, and especially compared to the Glocks that I've shot, the trigger is leagues better. So I won't have to do any work on this gun at all. So I'm just going to leave the grips the way that they are, you know, leave the trigger the same as it is. I think I'm going to pretty much leave everything stock. Again, this pistol has everything that I would want or need in a full-size pistol. It's got that high capacity, or well, standard capacity for this pistol is 16+1. I know some other guns are 17+1, but you know, one round doesn't really make that much of a difference to me. It's got a steel frame, so I can shoot the hot stuff out of it. like the Plus P or the Plus P Plus, not intending to shoot that regularly, but if I need to shoot that in a pinch, I can. This can shoot the heavier loads. And this can shoot hollow points, which a lot of older designs, well, I know this is an old design going on, 43 years, but these can shoot hollow points. This will digest any crap ammunition, pretty much anything I can feed in it. If I want to shoot tool ammo through it, aluminum case, steel case, whatever, this thing will eat it. Whereas a lot of the older designs, like the 9mm 1911s and the Walthers, they may not take too kindly to hollow points. So this one I know will work for me no matter what I need it to do. And another thing I like about this being like a classic pistol design is that it fits in any holster that I need to fit it in. So right here I've got my little my battle belt right here that I've set up, and it fits perfectly inside my M12 holster. So fits in there nice and snug. Let's just pull that down. Yeah, it fits in there nice and snug. And then it also fits in my multicam drop leg holster that I have as well. So, but the Walther, due to its design with the projecting barrel, doesn't really fit too well inside your standard holsters. So that's definitely another plus. But just again, super excited that I was able to get my hands on one of these, especially in a trade. And this one's a keeper. So finally have a modern double stack 9mm. So hope you guys liked the video. As always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.